Music for Change aims to train artists on societal issues, sexual and gender-based violence, good governance, transparency, accountability, civic education, just things that really matters and things that are affecting us in a society. This is the start of the Kick It Out project, which aims to train 5 Gambian artists on sexual and gender-based violence and so on, advocacy basically. So we are supported by Alliance Franco. So we just want to say a big thank you to Alliance Franco for believing in us.
When we started to talk with Awa about the Kick It Out project and also the whole training around gender-based violence and also FGM in music and more generally about advocating through the music. But the Alliance Française felt that it's a great opportunity for us to work together. As a cultural and community center, we really do believe that music is a power tool for changing the society.
I've always been someone that used my craft to inspire positivity and to inspire change, and this is something that really aligns with everything.
I base it more on talking about people with different disabilities and so on, but being also part of the people that can talk about genders and, you know, the violence is based on it is really, really a very, very, very great honor, and I'm really glad to be part of it, honestly.
This is one of the greatest opportunities that I have today, you know, because we've been seeing especially artists coming up with songs that are related to other issues, but issues that we are facing as a society. And then Music for Change come up with this kind of initiative where they involve artists and then invite experts to talk on gender-based violence.
Most often when we say sexual and gender-based violence, people always think that it affects only women. So throughout this training today, participants got to understand that when we say gender, we don't mean it's only about women. Though we always say that, and it happens that women are the most vulnerable, but men too do get their rights violated. So I'm really happy today that they got to see things in both ways.
Gender-based violence is something that, you know, is not only affecting people within our society at work level, but even within our music industry. So having artists using their voices and then their instrument to impact life and make a change is something that I see so amazing, and I look forward to work with them in a lot of projects like this.
Things that happens in our homes, in our society, and with some of this contribution and comment, it will really help us in our conversation. So in our understanding as artists, as advocates, because remember, the music industry that we are doing is we are still sending message, because this is an activism journey, because you are there to send message. So in your career, in your understanding as artists, as activists, when we talk about gender-based violence, what comes to your mind first?
In my own level of understanding, I think is when the opposite sex, that is the male, whom I believe to be more, powerful in our local societies and stuff like that, try to overtake, or let's say take advantage of the other gender, that is the weaker gender, whom are the female, I believe.
Yeah. So my presentation today rather was in line with the theme of the project, that is combating gender-based violence in our society, especially in the music industry. And it was one of the greatest opportunities that I had with artists, and it was an amazing session, I could say. My first time, like I said, training Gambian artists on gender-based violence, and get to learn from their side, and they also get to learn from me. This is something that I see so interesting, and I hope more of this will happen. And then I also hope that this will be disseminated worldwide, so that people out there get to know that these artists that we've trained today are not only good at music, but also amplifying their voices on issues of gender-based violence.
So as of today's session, we explored a lot of themes of gender-based violence, sexual gender-based violence, themes that I thought that I had an idea of what it's truly about, and I realized that there's a lot for me to learn. It was very informative, very educative, and I'm leaving here, I would say, more educated on the topic, and I believe that there's way more that I need to learn, and thanks to this program, I know where to start.
I'm stuck on in gender-based violence, thinking that the benn side la neka, thinking that it's only jigen ni rek ñoo they face that gender-based, but today I've learned there's different ways of gender-based violence, not only si jigen ni, góor ñi tamit ci xale yi. I've learned a lot of interesting things that I will be definitely benefits from that.
At first we thought it was just on the female side of it, but we came to learn. Me personally, I learned that it was on both genders. Being male or female or whatever, it's still we can all be violated in one way or the other. So that was something that I really captured today, and I appreciate that.
From here today, I'm gonna use my voice, of course, to let people know a lot about gender-based violence.
It was really, really meaningful. So obviously, I got to learn a lot of stuff during this time. So definitely, when I go out there, I got a lot that I can do. Musically, I would write songs about gender-based violence and people with different abilities. And definitely, I have a voice that can actually have impact on people. So this is actually going to be one thing that I will really, really focus on from here, trying to portray these messages and send it through my music, because I think that is one of the only most beautiful ways I can connect to the people, to my people. Yeah.
The participants were so excited and they learned a lot, and I have the belief that they're going to do a lot of impact within their society based on their experience, and then based on their recommendation that they have given, because we touch different parts of issues of gender-based violence, coming down to the root cause up to the implementation, and they've give a lot of promises that they will get to work a lot with their communities and then their fellow artists. So it was a very successful training, and I really thank Music for Change for inviting me on this platform to share my idea and then also learn from the artists.
Every time that you talk about FGM, there is no FGM in the Gambia. It's female circumcision, because that's what they learned, what the Prophet advised that woman who was doing it in Medina. But during the research, what we found and what they believe, it's totally different things.
So day 2 is on female genital mutilation, in short FGM. So last year we have seen how the topic of FGM has sparked a lot of discussions, a lot of campaigns, all the way to the National Assembly of repealing the law and all of that. So day 2 is focused on female genital mutilation, because this is a deeply rooted societal tradition. It was so touching seeing the physical image of how girls and women are being cut. It's in the different types and the cultural and traditional and religious belief of our people, which we tried over the years, over 40 years, to change. Still haven't worked yet, but I believe looking back and now where we are at, the advocacy has reached certain people, and still we're working on it. And I would say that it's a very emotional day because participants got to understand what FGM is and the different types, how it affects women, and also seeing the pictures was quite something else. I could see how emotional the participants were, because they couldn't actually believe in what they saw, because at some point we have religious leaders actually trying to influence policymakers to repeal the law on FGM. So some people, they don't do research, they just tag along with whatever they say, because we all know how powerful and influential religious leaders are. But for the rest of the participants, being able to see the pictures and how it affects women really shift their attention to a whole nother direction.
I really didn't know how deep and how critical this topic is after the session today, because I saw like first-hand images of what these our women go through, and I was definitely touched and traumatized, I would say. And being a father of a daughter, this is something I would never, ever, ever want to see any woman go through. So I'm glad that the session happened today. I learned a lot, and definitely gave me a lot of viewpoints to expand more and to research on more. And I believe that after today, I'll be having some very serious conversations with men in regard to this issue. FGM has no place in our society. It's harmful, it's barbaric, it's an archaic practice. It has no religious backing, and this is my take after all. And I think tradition evolves, and this is something that we should leave in the past. Say no to FGM.
I dropped tears. I dropped tears because Luma Jangate, FGM, Liverpool, it's different. But Luma Janga and the pain Luma gives me, when you go through that pain, knocks me down, seriously.
I was not really getting the entire understanding of FGM, but now seeing the realities and being lectured by an expert, it really changed my concept and my perception towards FGM. And I think every man should be very careful about how they go about these things. You know, we should allow the ladies to decide, because they are the ones that go through it. So we should definitely listen to them, and we shouldn't put our own sentiment or feelings, you know.
In the process of advocacy, we decided first to bring collecting the data, because before you know what you want to advocate for, you must have a data first about it. Like, okay, I want to advocate for people with different disabilities. First, you need to know. You understand? That is when you collect the data of what you want to advocate.
We started off by defining the issue, the advocacy issue, because before you can do anything, you need to know what you're advocating for. You need to define the issue, right? So that's basically where we started from, and then from there, you set a goal and an objective. Because once you identify the issue, you need to know what your goal is. Basically, what you aim to accomplish.
Yeah, day 3 of the Kick It Out advocacy training is centered on advocacy. So this was facilitated by Uncle Mr. Njundu Drammeh from the Human Rights Commission. So this day covered what we have learned in day 1, day 2, generally how to use our music to advocate for societal change.
But we also talked about how important it would be to work together as people with standing and with voices in the society come together as a coalition, as an alliance, to advocate for these issues, considering that no one organization can effectively advocate for anything.
So we got to understand what advocacy means, the type of approaches we should take when it comes to advocacy, and the most important thing for me was developing messages as well, because we are artists, we are going out there to advocate to people, to raise awareness, so we should be able to understand it and also construct our messages properly, since we would be working on an album.
Music for Change, because it's a beautiful, beautiful initiative, This kind of initiative, because as an artist, second to mga activist. Before nga duga si bagas bisa, you should be equipped. Understand? Understand what to do, how to do it, and then where to take it. Understand? And then Music for Change, from na lagi na tawal.
By and large, I think the workshop I would rate was a great success. And I think the participants are well prepared to use their various platforms, to use music, to use their voices, to not only raise awareness on the issues affecting women and children, but also to ensure that policies, laws, structures, necessary institutions are in place for women and girls to be able to effectively enjoy their human rights.
If you are an artist or a mouthpiece of anything, I think you should be responsible enough to build, not to destroy, and then because you want it to be popular so fast, yes, you can be popular so fast, but there are qualities in popularity. There are people, if you're popular for the wrong reason, you have to keep that wrong reason going in order to keep yourself on the line. And that wrong reason will actually eat you up. It's going to swallow you.
We are doing music, but this music that we're doing, we want it to change life on a positive side. So it's a beautiful, beautiful initiative. Man mang si bil 100%. Tadi wah ne all the other artists out there, let them link us up to see how we can yok bagas mungkin ayatu, because everybody amna si wala,
I think it's important that music, which probably is one of the best influences, so to speak, for social change, is actually used. So I think instead of the normal way of working, I think we need to ensure that we use other approaches, including music, to reach our target. And musicians and these young people not only have that youthful exuberance, but are also people that are exemplary, that society also look up to.
Right now, comme lu ñu waré, advocacy dafa nekk benn level bi nga xam ne nii parce que nañu use benn medium, just benn the same way of doing it. Now it's time to flip the script, comme nu ko dee gars di waxee, and then to be using music, come this powerful tool. Music is really, really powerful. Music can influence people's life in so many ways. Music can create a big change, understand that? And I believe if we can start using music as a tool for advocacy, then I believe ne suñ buga dinañ ko gëna am jot, because music can reach to so many places bi nga xam ne just words can.
And now that we all have access to the same music, let us not forget the purpose of it. The purpose of this music is to pass information to the society, and the information we're supposed to pass obviously must not be negative, because the society that we are passing it to is ourselves, our brothers, our sisters. And if you became popular and became a poison to the society that you're supposed to represent, that is not fair. Things that you will not tell to your kids, you shouldn't say it to other kids.
As advocates, trying to change, mindsets, sometimes it could be very risky. So this training, especially this 3 day, especially the 3rd day, it prepares us on, what to expect, and also how to have that mindset, to go with. Because when it comes to advocacy, like, you will be threatened at some point. People will direct hate speeches towards you. Some people believe that when they hear the word activist, it is something that is very negative, and let's say advocates are troublemakers and all of that, and which is not actually the case. All we want to do is to raise awareness and just to ensure that we live in a peaceful community. So today was really important that we prepared the minds of artists on what to expect when it comes to advocacy, but then again how to use their music as a tool for powerful social transformation. Yeah,
I think that using music as for advocacy, I think would bring tremendous gain in the entire advocacy landscape than the other traditional approaches that we have been using.
Kane yow li ngay daj ci kër gi déggal mer bi ne ko mënoo jur sër ji daw si jooy na gisatut jëkkër ji kaa yi xatal nañ ko pour mu génn kër gi di ko xoole
Buren kangena kia amde bukeno Jak muteben kangena kia amde bukeno Buren kangena kia amde bukeno Jak muteben kangena kia amde bukeno Ameme chokindi anyigere mira muche igora garhere amde bukeno anyila omanjutara igora garhere alala takhanga jay sadom silent life 14 years Lumi de 64 years old.
Old habits die hard, but they need to die. And we never see change till we see the why. See, the journey begins when you search from within. Can't walk in the truth if you live a lie. So tell me how long we've been living like this. Got the lights on, but we still in darkness. Should I fight on? Should I live it like this? There's a crack in the mirror that we all need to fix. If nobody's gonna speak when it's difficult, then nobody's gonna read what they didn't sow. If nobody's gonna speak when it's difficult, then nobody's gonna read what they didn't sow.
Nefiga idunyu sorale Yo sakarta moisa dole Kon yo minda ubuko fowe Kon gala nanko sorale Nefiga idunyu sorale Yo sakarta moisa dole Kon yo minda ubuko fowe Kon gala nanko sorale
She wants to fly, give her the wings. Yeah. We'll got traumatized, fahel mu smile, give her the things she needs. Yeah. What is he worrying about? She got an uncle home that is breaking her down. Yeah. Pulling her to the ground. Every other time the
Lord, therefore what a summer I don't. Till it's a dome, the thing I feel body mouth. Sister, don't go out of summer